Babes called me, Ambassador Babes acknowledges that you are visiting. I'm happy and welcome you, the city government. And you know it already, but you said that this is the capital. It's a very challenging city. And I'm happy to introduce to you our new Director of Tourism of the city of Manila. As you all know, there is a national government and local government, but most likely they function the same, but effective only on a particular jurisdiction of Manila. The national, of course, the entire country. So that's the counterpart of the Secretary of Tourism. So how are you?
We're doing well. We're excited to be here. This is our second day. We've been learning a lot about the Philippines. We've been discussing ideas that we could work on. So we're grateful that you made time for us today. We appreciate it. We know you're busy, so it means a lot to us.
Sorry, I didn't. This is my regular clothing style, because I go around the city most of the time and having meetings also in between, because I just submitted to the president our dreams of Manilans to build. I think this will be the largest open green space in a highly urbanized setting in the country. Maybe when you pass by, you see our famous Intramuros wall, and beside that there is a golf course. Only a few using it, and I wanted to make it public and convert the entire 25 hectares a central park like almost the same concept for our people, and of course the neighboring cities. We have one already here, Roseros Park. Have you been to Esplanade? We have. Sino ang sa kanila nagdadala, nag-iikot?
The DFA.
DFA. You tell DFA, you should send them to the new Esplanade in Riverbank. And recently, a few days ago, the President and the First Lady built a preschool, and that is adjacent to what we did 4 years ago with Roseros Park. So it became a whole area, green area. Then you go walk all the way to Baya River, all the way to Intramuros, the Plaza Mexico. Ano yung famous natin, history with the Philippines and Mexico? Yung trade?
Galleon trade.
No, not the galleon trade. There's another term for that. Yeah, it's galleon, but there's another term for that. It's a very famous area in the past. The Plaza Mexico. No? And from there, a few meters, you go now to Fort Santiago, inside Intramuros. Fort Santiago is where our heroes were jailed during wartime and during the Spanish time. But it is a place for the Americans at the time, protecting our country until it was occupied by the Japanese. It is a very full of story. We're a very old city, but we have a lot of story in this country. So I hope you can go around in the area, because you will see how America and Philippines has rich relationship, even in the 1800s. And until now, we're very close to American way of life, most of the Filipinos. And in fact, even our, I think even our constitution was is modeled to the Americans, but we have more freedom. Here, I mean, like portion of our provisions in the constitution. But anyway, I'm just happy to receive you and thank you for visiting the city government. I hope I can do something. Maybe you can also do something for Manila in the near future. And I heard some of you will be senators. Future senators.
I like the way you think.
Of course. I want you to be in the Senate. At least you can, that senator went to our city.
Maybe you know something that I don't know.
Anyway, so welcome to the city of Manila, the most colorful city in the country.
They will be here until Friday.
Talaga?
But they have back-to-back meetings today. Will you have time to pause? Maybe we could arrange a tour for you in our old but very beautiful and historic city.
I think we can make it happen. We'll work on the agenda. We'll be in touch with you. We'll make something happen.
I think they should. They should at least a few hours from Intramuros.
Hi, Mr. Chair, maybe
Maraming
you can share a little bit about, why we're here, so that, because especially, I was joking, we were coming, driving up, and there was some rental space, and I said, hey, it's home, it's right here, because I'll let you.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Mayor. So this is the first time we visit as a group and individually here the Philippines, and I have a little bit of history with your country. I had an opportunity to host Ambassador Romualdez.
Yeah, babes.
Yes, babes in the state of Arizona. And we've been talking about a trip to the Philippines for the last couple of years. So I'm grateful to him for making this trip happen for us. Long story short, I chair the International Trade Committee. And the members here joining me today are also members of that committee. And our traditional trading partners are Mexico and Canada. They're the ones that are north and to the south of us. My plan and the plan of the committee has been to look beyond that, to look for new opportunities in different parts of the globe. So one of the conversations that we've been having with the government here was an investment from the state of Arizona in the Philippines to establish a trade office. And that trade office would look for opportunities for the state of Arizona in the areas of economic development. Likewise, that office here in Manila could be a liaison for companies from Manila, from the Philippines, who are interested in investing in the state of Arizona. So we've also had conversations about greater participation between our universities and developing a relationship with different sectors of the economy. While economic development, jobs, furthering education is important to us, I think as a committee, our bigger goal is supporting the Philippines, as we understand that you're a friend, you're an ally, and you're in a very rough neighborhood. And so
I'm starting to love you, not only like you. Not only like you, but love you.
Well, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love the committee because we're all on the same page. This is important, and while Washington is stuck in gridlock, the states, including the state of Arizona, we're spearheading subnational diplomacy, and that's something that has taken off in the state of Arizona. We recently traveled to Indonesia, and we were received as family. We've been received here as family as well. I think if we stay in touch, there's many opportunities. As I mentioned, the trade office, greater cooperation between our universities, and also we've had the conversation of a possible sister city program with some of your cities, including Manila, if there's interest on your end. So we made this investment. We traveled more than 8,000 miles. It's not by coincidence. Part of it was a conversation with your ambassador, but two, he was very receptive for us coming to the Philippines. And
Babes is doing really a good job for the country. With all honesty, I mean, Ambassador Babes Romualdez. I call him Babes. Sorry for the Filipinos are like that. We call them when we're comfortable talking and working with people. We call them by first name. But Ambassador Babes is really working really hard to protect the interests of the country in Washington. It's been a while that he's been there and he's doing a great job.
And our visit has been comprehensive. We met with the universities, we met with different groups, AmCham. Now we're meeting with the local government. We were educated on what's going out in the sea between China and the fishermen with the Coast Guard. So this trip has been impactful, and we're going to share it with our colleagues back in the state of Arizona.
Yeah. So you're looking for an office.
That's the
Would
goal.
you?
What's that?
I mean, would you want an office in Manila?
We would be very interested in opening up a trade office. We have to go through our budget process
Yeah.
and appropriate X amount of dollars for this office to function. What would help us if we could find a partner who would be willing to give us some in-kind space so that our dollars are multiplied.
Oh, because Magsaysay building, I think it's along Rojas Boulevard, just across the embassy. It's an office building in front of also Diamond Hotel, 4-star hotel along by the bay. I think there is a good office for the state of Arizona for like what you are saying, and it's manageable. The cost of having it. It's an old building, but it's I think some office of American office was held there, especially in the 60s and 70s. Adjacent office of the embassy was held there.
And what's key, Mayor, this is a bipartisan group. We have
I heard.
Democrats, Republicans, and this is a collaborative effort. I want to give an opportunity.
Who is a Democrat? Democrat. Who is Republican? Okay.
My participant.
Ang galing, when I was sent by the U.S. State Department in Washington, I was sent to Pennsylvania. All over Washington, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, and Washington State. So D.C. and Washington, Seattle. One of the offices, I think it's, I don't know if that's correct, U.S. Steel office in Pennsylvania, and study Republican concept. We were sent to. So I was sent by the U.S. government to under IBLP, or what you call International Visitors Leadership Program, when I was a vice mayor then. I'm a product of IBLP. So I don't know. I don't want to say because. But I'm happy. I've learned a lot of things, especially in Oklahoma. When I was studying the renewable, they always talk about renewable energy. In Oklahoma, there is renewable water. There been because it's a flat land, it's a flat state, and I think one of their problems is the access to potable water, and they build their own facility. Those water use in the household, created a man-made lake and put a system on it, and you can drink the water again. They bring it back to the anong tawag sa mga Manila Water? Anong tawag sa mga ganyan? Utility company.
Was it Lake Hefner? Lake Hefner?
Was it? Sorry?
The lake?
Lake? Yeah, there's a lake that is, it's like a man-made lake.
Yeah, but all the lakes in Oklahoma are man-made.
Oh, yeah.
The Lake Hefner in Oklahoma City is a reservoir.
Oh yes, I'm the city. Oh, the I don't know what city is that, but I'm definitely sure it's Oklahoma. and it's really flat. So it's flat. So there is, when it rains, you know, it's like Philippines. There is flooding in the road because the terrain. But naturally, they solve it with creating many lakes as a reservoir or a water catchment system. And they clean it through another facility adjacent to the lake and bring the water back to the utilities, to the household. Galing. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing that these things. But when you see the water, you won't drink the water, the finished product. From A to Z, when you see the A, are you sure you're gonna drink this? No, that's the start. Yeah. Oklahoma. And that's why I'm very grateful to the State Department opening my eyes and other things. And that encouraged me to go back to study and take up some executive program in Boston. That opens my mind because I'm a local politician. But sometimes, like, this is the capital of the country. There is so many moving parts around us, so we have to blend and mend our ways. Also managing expectations from the national government, especially we are the host of the seat of power. The seat of power resides in Manila. Unlike in District of Columbia, it's a separate entity within the local government unit. Am I right? There is no authority. The local government unit has, District of Columbia has no authority over, I don't know how do you call that place, the Washington area.
But our opposition is trying to add 2 U.S. senators to the District of Columbia.
So DC was created by our founders to be neutral from all the other states.
Yeah, neutral. Yeah.
So the city of Washington actually, its budget gets approved by Congress. Congress actually technically runs the city. They've got a mayor and all of that. It's actually supervised by the U.S. Congress.
Yeah, that's why I was like, how do you operate as local government unit hosting the seat of power? It's separate. Don't worry about it. We don't intertwine our functions. It's very clear. So something new for me at that time. It was 2011 or 2010. I was brought by, thanks to the American taxpayers, I learned a lot of things. Because I was sent there for free. Everything. You have a very good program under IBLP, under the State Department. It's very good because we see things differently. Prejudice will be raised because you will understand how Democrats think and how Republicans think and how the government goes together and works together. So if you have maybe I don't have bad things about Americans and other countries. But sometimes people has this what you call prejudice. But when you're given a chance to understand things, then you will have a better judgment of culture, way of life, policy making, international relation, how you build the relationship as a country or as human being. It's a very rich program. It widened my perspective, and I owe it to the State Department. That's why I was encouraged to go back on a different state, which is the Boston.
And that's why we're here, Mayor, when we've had this conversation, Representative, of how these visits enrich our lives, not only just as policymakers, but as humans and individuals, understanding how different cultures operate, how different governments operate, and what are they facing, what are the challenges, and it helps us make better decisions when we go back to the Capitol.
That program, IBLP, I think it's still ongoing because one of my counselor was sent also there when si Tol,
Yes.
na IBLP siya. One of my council. Very young also. I was sent there, I think, 30 years old. But I'm 31 now. I'm 51 on Friday. Kailan ba birthday ko? Friday. I'll be 51. The world will celebrate my birthday. Yeah, I grew up very poor, with all honesty. Very, very poor. But during my birthday, we don't have celebrations. When you're a poor family, birthday is just a date. You'll be happy if you have 1 liter Coke in your during the celebration of your birthday. Other than that, there's nothing. But the entire school celebrates my birthday. They have the band and they wear uniform.
Very colorful.
Very colorful.
All nations.
All nations. Because my birthday is October 24. It's United Nation Day. That's why when I go this, oh, thank you. Happy birthday to me. They're all dressed up. Miss America, Miss Africa, and so on and so forth.
It's a big party.
It's a big party. I'm turning 51. I've been in the service for 27 years. I started 23, the youngest councilor ever elected in the city of Manila. I finished my term for 9 years. Then, fortunately, I got elected at the age of 32 as vice mayor, the youngest vice mayor ever elected again in the city of Manila. Then, when I finished my term for 9 years, I ran for the Senate. I lost. Then I got appointed in the national government as the chairman and CEO and president of North Trail. It's a GOCC national government corporation, which the function is to create train line, which they are now doing. I mean, the plan that we did in the past is now being implemented. Then, after a while, I became Undersecretary for Social Welfare. Then I ran for mayor in 2019. I won. Then, in 2022, I ran for president and I lost. I'm supposed to be retiring. But the people of Manila, in one incident, there was a fire. And, I just wanted, although I'm retired already, I just visited the fire incident and people started chanting. Chanting ba tawag doon? Bumalik ka na. Ano yung sa English yung bumalik ka na?
Return.
Please return. Please come back.
Please come back.
And the people are this got it by fire, and when they saw it's like, you come back in chant. And it became a political so why what's happening? But then again, that's a long story told. I decided okay, and then overwhelmingly with the 11 candidates, I think we got 61%, no? 61% of the entire vote. Yeah. So I'm just trying to catch up. And lost opportunity, stunted growth for the last 3 years. So there are so many things that we wanted to do. And I'm a guy who believes in MBN. Minimum basic needs. I'm partly Democrat, I'm partly Republican. MBN, minimum basic needs, housing, education, healthcare, and jobs. Yeah. That's where I want the government to invest. All the greeneries and open green spaces, these are, anong tawag doon? Umami. Ano nga yung umami sa English? Ajinomoto.
Yes, but not umami.
No, it's
the cherry.
yeah, but the quality of life, that's where I'm after. Always the quality of life. I cannot make the people rich, but I can make their life better by providing roof, better, good quality educational facility with proper health care and opportunity to work. So those are the things that I always, every single day. About an hour ago, there was about a few businessmen here who were having trouble in the past. I told them, by next week, you will have permit. All I ask from you is preferably hire somebody from the city. Yeah. So we liberalize our policy doing business in the city. We try to create some maneuvers or detour legally of our policy with regard to ease of doing business to accommodate more businesses in the city, so more new sources and more jobs, because jobs will create peace and order. That's the end game. When people are working, trying to make a living, the probability of him or her making unnecessary activities against property or a person is minimal. So that's the hard way. So you see condominium, binondominium, these are in-city vertical housing program, vertical schools that addresses 10-year population growth in a particular geography. So that's how I'm trying to prepare our city. Always ahead of time. When we build something, it addresses not today. It addresses a decade of demand based on X squared kilometer or radius in the community. And so far, modesty aside, we've produced more than 5,000 businesses in just 3 months. 10 million above. 10 million is like $200,000. Oh, sa 50. Oh, tama, mga $200,000 value of worth of business came in. Oh, kasi 10 million sa 50 de 200. Oh, 200. Yeah. Average. So, and about 12,000 jobs in 3 months. 100 days. The only thing lacking for the city is for me to sleep. So I don't have time to fix myself. Although from time to time I have to dress up properly. But if given a chance, I'd rather be attending to this type of meeting and all other things.
Mayor, when I feel like you've been in our meetings with your discussions and your shared values, but when you began to discuss the meeting that you were coming from regarding the golf course and making it a park, we understand, at least we understand.
Yeah, we thought of it not to address the present time. We wanted to make it as a gift of this generation for our, ano ba yung apo sa tuhod? O apo sa talampakan? For our great-grandchildren. Because trees and open green space, it must be appreciated when they are, on a prescribed time. But for now, yeah, of course, we're going to enjoy. But our something, heritage pa tawag ito? Pamana. Ano yung pamana? Sorry, naubusan na ako ng English, ha? Paubusan ng paubos, ha? Pamana is more than the gift. Synonyms to the word gift heritage, pamana, pass on. It's like something that we can give for our
Legacy.
It's a legacy.
legacy for our children. Yeah.
Handing down.
Because at the rate we're going with our, I don't know how fast we are in adapting to EVs. I really don't know, because EVs is still expensive. I mean, the vehicle itself it's still quite expensive, and the producing of power. To produce power, we are still more on nature-based, or what you call fossil-based way. I think we are still behind with that. What is universally acceptable ratio of generating power with regard to fossil and renewable energy. I think we're still lagging behind. But going there. So that's my story. That's why sometimes I'm Democrat, sometimes I'm Republican. It depends on the policy. Oh, I like that. Because that's my belief. Because I came from very poor, literally. I don't know, I don't want to sound like romantic, but would you imagine that this boy before you used to eat food from the garbage bin? Yes, Congressman. That is my life. I'm a scavenger. I grew up in a very poor neighborhood and family. We eat leftovers of Jollibee. Fast food. In the garbage bin. Then when I was in high school, I promoted myself. Become a driver. You see the 3-wheel that you see in the street? When I was in high school. And fortunately, when I was 18, I was discovered to be an actor.
You can relate?
Yes, I acted in Hollywood as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, have you heard of SAG?
SAG?
Screen Actors Guild?
Yes.
I have my SAG card still.
So I was discovered in, ano yung funeral ba tawag doon? Lamay? Lamay? Ano ba yung lamay? Coffee party. In a funeral, I was discovered by a talent scout, and that changes everything. So when I entered into public service, I'm high school finish. I did not finish the tertiary education, but through the years, I was being, anong tawag doon? Pinapaya? Ano yung pinapaya?
Embarrassed.
Bullied, because I don't have that kind of education while I'm in public office. And I want them to stop. And the only way for them to stop is for me to go back to school. Then I went. I finished my college and my tertiary education. I went further, entering into law school. Then I got elected as vice mayor. O nga pala, no? 3 record na. Youngest councilor, youngest vice mayor, youngest elected mayor. Because there was a young mayor, by rule of succession, he got the office because the mayor at the time died. He's also young. I think he's 42. I got elected at the age of 42. 42 nga ba? Yeah, 45. He's 42. But him is through succession. Me through election. Yeah, 3 record. Man. The story of my life. Sorry, I don't want to make your afternoon sad. I'm just sharing you that there are things that may be impossible, but through God, God will always provide. We do your best, and God will take care of the rest.
That's on our state seal.